Welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing today? How was your weekend? Is your week off to a great start? Are y'all enjoying this sunshine today? It's been some beautiful weather here. I hope that y'all are good. I hope that y'all are getting y'all vitamin D, all of that, right? I just appreciate y'all so much for pulling up. This episode would work like every other episode. Let me know that you're here. Post a comment. I'll post you. But anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me. I just want to thank every single one of y'all for pulling up. So whether you're watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, or you watching the replay, I see you, I love you, and I appreciate y'all. So anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me. Let me go ahead and get this housekeeping in so we can get into today's episode, y'all. Man, I tell you, this week is just off to a great start. I'm going to share some stuff with y'all. But anyway, put your comments in the chat. I see you, Cousin Desiree. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me, cuz. I appreciate you. Love and light to you always. All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and get this housekeeping. You already know. For those that are new here, this is the time where I do my housekeeping. That just basically means y'all should be liking, subscribing across all platforms. On YouTube, it's Relationship Soup, period. Or if you're watching the little vertical lens that StreamYard has now, it's Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period or you're going to be somewhere else. If you want to come and join the group, it's RelationshipSoupGroup. Get in there, y'all. I know I giggle every time because it just be some stuff in there. But anyway, if you want to follow me, it's RelationshipSoupLLC. And on IG, it's also RelationshipSoup. And of course, y'all already know what I'm going to say. Hello, me. This is my 100-page affirmation book for children. There's positive affirmations. There's beautiful, diverse illustrations in here. Hold on, let me. I'll be trying to give y'all a little sample, right? There's some diverse illustrations in here. These kids deserve to have a positive outlook of self because y'all already know how life is. And that's what we're going to get into today. The importance of having a positive outlook of self. Plant the seed in these babies early, right? They deserve that. You can get hello me through me. Y'all like that bar I drop? Kind of. All right, now. Y'all can get hello me through me. You can DM me and we can talk about get you a copy. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Kindle, Apple, all that, right? So go on and copy y'all a copy, right? Tongue-tied for that deserving child in your life. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. So anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and put that QR code in the corner so that y'all can go ahead and if y'all want to scan for a copy, y'all can do that as well. So boom, y'all should see hello me. Y'all see that little QR code? Hit that QR code in the corner there and support your local author. I'm just saying, support these babies. Speak life. We're going to speak life. If you don't do anything in this world, speak life because the tongue is powerful, right? All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and get into this episode. I ain't going to keep y'all too long tonight. I just kind of wanted to come on here and holler at y'all, temperature check a little bit, right? Because the week be going by and I be missing my audience. I be missing y'all. I do. Just like I be missing my students. I tell my students, I miss y'all. They be like, for real, Professor? And I really do. I miss my students and I be missing my listeners. So anyway, let me go ahead and get into today's episode, y'all. Now, last week, y'all know that it was episode 103, our 103rd episode, 103. And basically, I've been doing this series. It's called the Major Key series. So that's just basically where we have this series. We've had dynamic women on in the entertainment industry. They're doing stuff for the community, business, all of that. And they be dropping some major keys, right? So last week's episode was with, it was called Mastering Your Mindset and Owning Your Genius with Kamisha Michaels. Chef's kiss. When I tell you that sister is a genius, absolute genius. And I love the episode for so many reasons, y'all. And I'm going to bring your comments on, keep them coming. I really love that episode for so many reasons. It wasn't just another conversation where we were just talking about, business, entrepreneurship, and success, right? It contained those things. But we addressed so much more. Like we was peeling back onion layers. Do you hear me? We were talking about the mindset behind the mission, the emotional side of becoming, right? Because a lot of us know about just being. Like, I've even posted just be, just become, right? But let's look at we looked at the emotional side of it. Powerful. We also talked about healing. And now that has come up on various podcasts, about healing. But we got into how that healing has to happen so that you can finally decide to live outside of survival mode and even to help to move forward in your goals, right? So we got into all of that. Let me go ahead and bring on a couple of y'all comments before I get into it. Michelle, thank you so much for joining me, beautiful. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's your girl. Thank you so much. It's your girl, Bijou258. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. All right. So, but like I was saying, there was just so much about this episode that I love. And I know y'all be like, you say that about every episode, every guest. And I do, because I believe these be conversations that plant seeds that help others. Going back to last week, though, what really stood out to me among many things, and I'm going to address as many as I can, was the honesty, the transparency. Because let's just be real. Sometimes it's hard to be honest about things. Be honest about self. Be honest what's bothering you. Be honest about your journey. Sometimes it's hard to do that, right? But we talked about the honesty about fear, the honesty about trauma. There was honesty about shrinking yourself because life or somebody made you feel unsafe and not seen. And I think a lot of us can relate to that more often than not, more often than we even realize, because some of us might think we stuck because we're lazy, because of just whatever, right? Maybe it's because I'm not disciplined, maybe because I just don't have the confidence. But the truth is, it could be a little deeper than that, right? Have y'all thought about that? It's deeper than just thinking that I'm lazy or I'm just not motivated. What if you are emotionally exhausted, right? What if you truly are in survival mode? And what some people don't even realize is that when you are in survival mode, when you are in certain environments around certain support people, systems, or whatever, the way that you think can totally be rewired. Now, we kind of got a little, we got a little technical last week. I mean, just even with the whole rewiring of your brain, right? Because sometimes being in these narcissistic relationships or just toxic environments can totally rewire how you think, which impacts a lot, right? It changes the way that you love. Am I lying? I ain't lying. I ain't even got to validate it. I'm just saying, being in survival mode changes the way that you love, the way that you trust, the way that you build, the way that you show up in your relationships, and also the way that you pursue your dreams. There could be somebody sitting, listening right now that's in survival mode that ain't moving forward with their dreams because of where they are. And, the dangerous things is sometimes you can be so used to shrinking that you don't even realize that you are in survival mode, or even how you're showing up and abandoning yourself to feel accepted, right? That really hit me. Because it's something how you can adjust to certain situations. It made me think of a conversation. When I was having this conversation with Kamisha last week, I was thinking about when I was at the doctor with my mom or whatever, and the doctor was just basically talking about how the body adjusts to, say, if your oxygen is low or whatever, and your body will adjust to that, and you really think it's normal. To me, that's applicable to your mentality, to your emotional state, and things like that. Are you adjusting to your environment so much that you losing yourself, that you're not walking in purpose on purpose, or can't, or won't, or not recognizing it in that moment? Because, the thing that I think about too, and I'm thinking about it in this moment, I know that there's brilliant people in this audience that have ideas, creativity, vision, purpose, but somewhere along the way, maybe it was life, maybe it was a person, convinced you to stay quiet, to stay small, to stay hidden, to feel safe. Now, a question that I want to challenge all of y'all to ask yourself, or if it resonates with you, right? Because I don't never like to say all. But for those that this resonates with, I want you to ask yourself, who's wrong with you? Who's wrong with me? Right? Who is wrong with me? Have you ever asked that? Not what's wrong with me, not just what's wrong. Who is wrong with me? Who told me I had to shrink? Who benefits from me doubting myself? Because it ain't just me. I ain't the only one that been doubting myself, and Kamisha ain't the only one that has doubted herself either. Right? What benefits from me doubting myself? That's honest. And what version of me have I been denying to keep other people comfortable? Right? Because sometimes that really does happen, right? Because one thing I know for sure is that you cannot walk in purpose on purpose if you're betraying yourself or abandoning yourself, period. You can't. You can't. And it's really important to get to the root of it so that you can know how to move accordingly, right? Because this is all a journey in itself. Because healing matters. Mindset matters. The relationship with self definitely matters. I see y'all comments. And one of the biggest takeaways from last week's conversation is healing is not a weakness. It ain't a weakness, y'all. It's a strategy and it's ongoing, right? Let me say that again for the people in the back. Healing is not a weakness. It's a strategy and it's ongoing. Because let's just be real, y'all. Unresolved pain has a way of showing up everywhere. Am I lying? You might not even recognize it, but think about it for a second. Just think about it for a second, right? Unresolved pain has a way of showing up everywhere in your relationships, in your parenting, business, your self-worth. And how many opportunities have you walked away from? Can you be honest with yourself? Don't beat up on yourself. Again, we're just trying to get to the root of it all. Okay. And maybe, and hopefully tonight, somebody decides, hey, I'm done shrinking. I'm done surviving. I'm done waiting for permission to become who I already know I'm meant to be. Maybe. Because the truth of the matter, your voice matters, your healing matters, and the world needs what you got, period. You don't have talents for, your talent is not an accident. What you've been through is not an accident. You went through that, not only for growth, but it can help somebody. Nah, it will help somebody else because I've seen it time and time again in the RelationshipSoup group. Well, we go through things not only for our growth, but it helps somebody else. We have talents because we're supposed to affect somebody else. That's just my opinion. You don't have to accept it. But I'm just saying from my life lived, that's what life has shown me. And I'll bring y'all comments on in a minute. So tonight, we're going to go a little deep for the time that I'm giving tonight. Right? I ain't too hungry right now, so we got some time. So let's look at mindset. Let's think about healing. Let's think about identity. Let's think about fear. And let's think about purpose, right? And most importantly, for those that this resonates with, I want you to think about giving yourself permission to own your own genius and to move in purpose on purpose. Right? So, all right, y'all, go ahead and get comfortable. Let's go ahead and look at some of these points. All right, well, you know what? I'm going to bring our comments on in a minute. Give me a minute. Let me go ahead and get into this. So one of the first points that Kamisha and I hit on is your environment can either nourish or shrink you. Now, y'all remember last week when Kamisha was talking about how she was in she had a narcissistic husband. Right? Her husband was very narcissistic and it caused her to be in a mental prison, and which resulted in her shrinking and hiding her gifts. I remember Kamisha talking about, even before the show, she was talking about how she would love to sing. She would just sing, right? And she sang to her husband. That's slang for ex-husband for y'all that don't know, right? Some of us got a husband. But anyway, she would sing for her husband and he would like tell her, quit. It's too much. It don't sound good, whatever, right? There's a difference between constructive criticism and somebody just being nasty and just mean, right? And so for her, that on top of other things that she experienced, it caused her to shrink. And for a long time, she was in this mental prison, not even walking in her purpose, right? But thank goodness for grace, because it all works together, right? I ain't gonna get too, spiritual on y'all tonight, but thank goodness that it all worked together, because Kamisha eventually realized that, I got to move forward, right? I don't want to be in this mental prison anymore, right? And so I can just really appreciate that. And hopefully that gave other people permission to move forward as well, right? And so what would I say? I would say to y'all, stop judging yourself for where you are and ask yourself, who or what has made me shrink? Yeah, put that who in there. Right? It's not giving anybody power. Again, you have to get to the root, or at least identify the root, so that you can know how to move, because this is a growth thing, right? So healing begins with awareness, right? And just know that it's not always, I won't even say always. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're unmotivated. It could just be that you're emotionally exhausted, and that's okay. It happens. You might be even conditioned, and that's okay. It happens. And you might be operating in survival mode. That's okay. It happens. Let's just get some awareness about it so that we can move accordingly, right? Because you deserve to walk in your purpose. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be whole. You just do. I'm just saying. Husband, listen to Shell. Husband. It's very real. It's a very real title. A very real thing. So Tonality says they need these beats out here in these streets. Listen, Music Man, I know they do, Music Man, period. They need that, right? Because, just even in that example, okay, because I'm sure that you've been backstage, Music Man, and y'all have even heard, like, even guests, oh man, I'm feeling your theme song, man, they brought something out. Needed that. I'm just saying. Some of the greatest songs needed the talent behind it, the engineers and all of that. And some of them needed the auto tunes, just being honest. Because if I ever do it, I'm going to need the auto tunes. But it's still going to affect somebody positively. No, maybe. I'm just saying. All right, so let's see here. Growth comes with growing. Absolutely, it does. And you know what? This is just so, I don't believe in coincidence. It's just so on time, because I was actually listening to this video earlier that said that exact thing. Growth comes from growing pains. And sometimes I'll be like, man, creator, why it gotta be hurt so bad? Do it have to hurt? But growth does benefit. Growth does result from pain, purpose, all of that, right? Hi, cousin Melvin. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead. Let's continue on with these points. All right. So another thing that we talked about is fear is often trauma wearing a different outfit. Now, remember, Kamisha was talking about how fear, panic, and self-doubt were tied to unresolved trauma and nervous system responses, not weakness, right? Because sometimes you might be walking around thinking you're weak, but you have all these other contributing factors. And that's something to look at. And sometimes that can result in the fight, flight. Y'all already know what I'm trying to say, them F's, right? I knew it was going to be a tongue twister, but it does. It results in that. It can impact how you make decisions, self-sabotage, not only in business, but in relationships. Because self-sabotage is a real thing, or sabotage is a real thing, right? So one thing I would say is, the power of the tongue is so very real. Okay. Stop calling yourself crazy and be careful what you say. Man, I'm crazy. Stop. Just stop. I see you, Tonality. Fight or flight. Yeah, it ain't fight, flight. Yeah. Y'all know what I was trying to say, right? But stop labeling yourself as incapable, right? Stop beating yourself up for not being perfect, right? It's okay. And the truth of the matter is your nervous system just may need healing and regulation. And I know it is so much information out there, but I really think it's worth it. If you don't have a therapist, or, however you, want to pursue your healing journey. Yes. Freeze, fight, and flight. Hold on. Freeze, flight, fight. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Somebody put in the comments. Hold on. I'm going to say this right. Freeze, fight, flight. Y'all knew what I was trying to say. Y'all knew what I was trying to say, right? Okay. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. All right. So anyway, like I said, your nervous system may simply need healing or regulation, right? So what am I trying to say? Fear does not always mean stop. Sometimes it just means that your healing is being challenged. Okay. Another point, you have to stop shrinking to fit other people's comfort zones, period. You have to stop that. Again, that was another powerful moment. It was during the time when Kamisha was talking about her ex-husband and how she said she had to stop living based on his opinions, right? So think about that. How many times in your life have you dimmed yourself to make others feel comfortable? How so? Was it through people pleasing? Because that's a part of it. Was it through fearing being seen, fear of success, fear of criticism? Was it? Those are examples of that. So I would encourage you to evolve. Give yourself permission and grace. You are allowed to evolve. You're allowed to be visible, and you're allowed to outgrow environments. It's okay. In fact, if you're growing, you will. And you may even outgrow some of the people around you. And we're going to get into that in a minute. And that's okay. Right? Sometimes some of the folks in your camp, they benefiting off of you playing small, off of you not choosing not to walk in your purpose. Maybe it justifies their ego. Maybe it gives them permission to stay basic, to stay stagnant, right? And truthfully, some people only like the version of you that plays or stays small. Don't stay there. Just saying, don't do that. Quit playing. We have to cut the single. I know we do have to cut that single, right? Just have the auto tunes ready. I'm just saying. All right. So let's see here. Where else do we want to go? So mindset. Okay. Your mindset impacts every area of your life, every area, right? Relationships, business, parenting, confidence, all of that is impacted by your mindset. And the truth of the matter is you cannot have a healthy life from an unhealthy mindset. You can't. There's going to be blocks. You're not going to move like you should be moving if you have those blocks. So check your mindset. Think about burnout, emotional exhaustion, and it may even result in decision making under stress. Now, how is that good for parenting? Right? And I'm sure it happens, right? But if there's a way to move better, why not address that and recognize that? So what would I say? Check in with yourself emotionally. Learn your triggers. I'm laughing because, I was in a conversation and, just growing and all of that. And just one of the things that was recommended to me was learn my triggers, know what your triggers are and move accordingly. And don't feel bad about them. Just recognize it for what it is and just move accordingly. And one thing you really need to think about too is whether your current mindset can tolerate the life that you're trying to build. And that was something that Kamisha was talking about as well, right? Whether you're talking about business or whatever, you really need to look at that, right? All right, so let's see here. What else? Where else am I going tonight? Let's see here. Because the truth of the matter, I do want to say this point. If your mindset is constantly at war and you feel that life is a battlefield, that's no good. If you constantly at war, if you're constantly on a battlefield, how can you move forward? One of my favorite authors, and I just reread her book, is called The Game of Life and How to Play It. I would strongly recommend that book because the thing that I love about that author and one of her viewpoints is that life is not a struggle. It's not a battlefield at all. And it all comes to your mindset and your words, right? So that's why, I'm stressing really getting into your mindset and understanding the power of your words, right? Your tongue is a wand. It really is. I'm just saying. Hi, Demetric. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me and blessings to you as well. All right, so let's see here. Music Man, Big Stepper over here. I'm a Jones and we don't do small. That's why I have a vision board and run strict program over here. Absolutely. Vision boards are really good. Vision boards are really good. And I've probably made 11 vision boards in my life. And I've pulled, one out from time to time. And it's amazing the stuff that you said that you wanted to accomplish that you actually have accomplished. Vision boards are very, very real. All right, so let's see here. What else? Okay, so another point. You don't need permission to pursue your purpose. You don't need no permission for that, right? One thing that Kamisha talked about is how inventors throughout history didn't wait for approval. They pursued solutions. Okay, so if you have an idea, move forward. Your ideas matter even if you don't have nobody clapping for you. Even if nobody understands it, move forward, right? They ain't got to, right? My recommendation is start anyway, build anyway, create anyway. Do it. Just do it. Because somebody out there needs what you got. That's just the truth. Another point, let's see here, because we're about to be done here in a minute, y'all. All right, so protect what you create. That is so important. Protect what you create. And last week, Kamisha and I, we talked about copyrights. We talked about patents, contracts, boundaries in business. You got to have those. And one of the, I added to that conversation by saying, I know a group of people right now, they are battling it out in court, right? Because they didn't have those boundaries. They didn't have those contracts. And, you know, have that in place. I don't care who you go in business with, whether it is a spouse or friend, family, whoever, have those contracts in place, have those boundaries in place, right? Because, I mean, you go into anything with rainbows and butterflies, all this is going to be great. And then something happens. And then if you don't have the proper protection in place, then what? I'm just saying, right? So one thing I would say is stop treating your gift casually and protect your work legally and emotionally. Do that. Your creation has value even if nobody has clapped for it yet, even if nobody understands it. Your creation has value. It just does. Let me see here. I see a couple more comments. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You shall have what you say good about. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, I just know that personally. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. It just is. It absolutely is. You got to watch what you're saying, because you're going to manifest it one way or another, whether it's physically or whether it's even your mindset. Sometimes a negative mindset is because of what you manifest, what you are telling yourself, what your subconscious is putting out. So you got to train that. You got to renew your mind. Just saying. Another thing, let's see here. What else? All right. Again, healing is not a weakness. It's a strategy. And, you know, Kamisha talked about the whole system that she has and how healing is necessary. Healing is necessary. It doesn't always look pretty, but it's necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup forever. You just can't, right? And I would just encourage you all to rest without guilt, heal without shame, and ask for support, whether it's therapy, wherever the support, ask for the support. Nobody's an island. Now, you know, balance it. It just is what it is, right? But you got to ask for that support. I'm just saying. All right, so we have a comment. Hi, Shad. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, we have to be able to distinguish the difference between business and casual relationships. We absolutely do. Absolutely do. That gets blurred real easy, don't it? All right, let's see here. Is there anything else? So survival mode. I mentioned survival mode earlier. Survival mode is not life. It's just not. Can survival mode get you through some things? Absolutely. I'm sure it has, but it was never meant to become your permanent identity. It just wasn't. So that's all I got to say about that. I might bring on a couple of y'all comments. Let's see here. Michael Jackson taught us about butterflies in those contracts. Absolutely. Have y'all seen that Michael Jackson movie yet? I ain't even seen it yet. I've been hearing mixed reviews though. I don't know. But Michael did, he did teach us about butterflies though. You ain't lying. He did. All right, so let's see here. Is there anything else? Hey, Shad, I appreciate you. Anything else? Y'all good? Y'all Gucci? All right, so anyway, y'all, how am I going to end this? Of course, I'm going to give y'all my affirmation in a minute. So tonight's conversation is just a reminder that there's still greatness inside of y'all, right? I'm going to speak life over all of y'all. All of y'all are great. All of y'all are brilliant. All of y'all are geniuses. I'm speaking that life, right? And if there's people or life that has ever caused you to question it, find a way to address it, silence it, cast it out, right? Because even if fear delayed it, you are not too late. You're not too old. You're not too young. You're not too late. It's never too late to create. Oh, y'all like them bars? Anyway. And it's never too late to become who you're meant to be. So stop shrinking, stop hiding, stop waiting for permission and validation, because your voice matters, your story matters, and your ideas deserve to live. Go on and breathe some life into them. Go on and give birth to them. I'm just saying. What you say, Nichelle? Yes, I liked it. Oh, you liked it? Okay, that's what's up. Did you dress up? Did you dress up for Michael Jackson? Because I've been seeing like where people have been dressing up and just going all out. I've only seen it twice. Took Miss Jones, my mama, on Mother's Day. Oh, that's sweet. That's what's up, Reese. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so let's see. Is there anything else? And y'all got anything else for me? Anything? All right, so let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to put this affirmation in the chat because y'all know how I appreciate affirmations. All right, so let me go ahead and let that load up. All right, so the affirmation for this week is, I let go of everything not divinely designed for me, and the perfect plan of my life now comes to pass. All right. And that one was actually encouraged by Florence Scovel Shin. She's just one of my favorite authors. I really appreciate her. I really do. All right. So anyway, let's see here. Is there anything else? Shout out to all my listeners tonight. I appreciate y'all. You know, my mama is still on the mend. She is doing very well, y'all. So thank y'all so much for your prayers, for checking up on her. I really definitely appreciate that. Right. So, you know, if this episode blessed you, whatever, make sure that you are dropping a comment. Make sure that you are subscribing, liking across all platforms. All right. I'm just saying, make sure that y'all doing it. I'm going to go ahead and bring those on. All right. Y'all already know what I'm going to say. Relationship Soup, period. On YouTube. If you are watching this, hit that subscribe button. All right. If you want to join the forum, it's RelationshipSoupGroup. If you want to follow me, it's RelationshipSoupLLC. Right. And it's Relationship Soup on IG as well. And you already know, hello, me. Right. Again, you can get this on Amazon. You can get copies directly through me. Thank y'all. I'm just going to publicly thank y'all for getting these books through me. I really appreciate that, right? If you want a signed copy, definitely hit me up. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Apple Kindle, across all platforms. And I'm gonna give y'all a sample of some of these illustrations. I'm telling y'all, this book is powerful. There is power in words, and why not plant the seeds in a baby very young? Why not? Why not? Why not? Is there anything else? Oh, y'all are just the sweetest. Thank you so much for those prayers. She definitely appreciates that. Praying for your mama, they appreciate that. And prayer, love and light to your mom as well, Reese, and to all of y'all that are watching me tonight. Prayer, love, and light to all of y'all, right? I don't know what life is bringing y'all, but hey, life be lifing. It just does. All right, so let's see here. Is there anything else that I want to say tonight? Is there anything? Y'all got any additional words? Anything? Nothing? All right. So as always, y'all, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that you are speaking life always, right? And it starts with you. It starts with you, right? If you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else, right? And if you want to manifest, it starts with self. If you want things to change, if you want to grow, it starts with self. So anyway, until we meet next time, y'all, I'm out of here. Thank y'all for joining me for this Lisa's Lens. It's more to come. And thank y'all for the support. I love y'all. And until we meet next time, peace.